Super G Mart. Found everything we needed.
Except for olive leaves.
Yeah, except olive leaves. People were pretty helpful though. Not a whole lot of English speakers. We got what we needed, and we're ready to start cooking.
In order to have crab soup, we must have crabs. These 5 crabs will be used in our Mexican soup. So, we named them Francesco, Roberto, Pedro, Felipe, and Soap. Roberto will be the first to go. Adios, amigo.
So now we've boiled the crabs and got some really good meat off the legs. We picked the legs off of the crabs, broke them up, beat them with this meat grinder here. Now we're really getting some of the good stuff.
Throughout high school, I dated my fair share of Italian women, and I really learned how to use garlic properly in many meals. We will start the cooking by melting 2 ounces of margarine, which is half a stick. Then, in a pan, we will saute the tomatoes, onions. These are supposed to be olive leaves, but we used bay leaves instead because we couldn't find them at the Super G Market. Then we add the garlic and the salt, and we saute it until the onions are cooked.
Once the onions are cooked, we take all of these sauteed items and put them in the 10 quarts of water here. Once we do that, we'll then put the peppers, carrots, and crab all in there too, and cook it for an hour and a half.
Phenomenal!
Soup tasty tonight. Alma Casales would buy her ingredients from a local market in Cuernavaca, a city 50 miles south of Mexico City.
Most of her produce would have come from local farms, except for the La Castonia chipotle peppers, which are processed and canned, but are still from somewhere in Mexico. The crab probably came fresh from the coast of Mexico because the city is only about 30 miles from the ocean.
The Casales family lives in an urban area where the rest of the people in her building would be able to smell her cooking.
We got as close as we could to replicating this original soup. All of our shopping was done at the Super G Mart with the exception of some crab meat purchased at Harris Teeter.
The produce was probably not as fresh as it would have been in Mexico, but also the crab is from North Carolina beaches as opposed to the Mexican coast. We had to make some other changes in the recipe, like using bay leaves instead of olive leaves, and Herdez chipotle peppers instead of the brand listed, which is La Costeña. This modified recipe should be very similar to the original because the substitutions we had to make are common in cooking.
Although we don't know what the soup should really taste like, it seems to demonstrate a traditional Mexican flavor.